Hey friends, trust you're doing well. As part of this video, um, I would like to discuss um, the second part of what to expect once you submit your citizenship application for Canada. And I'm assuming you have gone through the previous video in this playlist. This is supposed to be a walkthrough video, self-help kind of thing. I hope this is useful for you. All right, before we get started, I'm going to take just 1 minute to talk about Citus. Citus is a regulated Canadian immigration um, um, company, and we help clients with all types of Canadian immigration application. So if you need help, we're more than happy to work with you. You can reach us at these numbers. This is our website. Reach us at the numbers, or you can actually email us at info@citusimmigration.com as well. If you are interested, you can also book a consultation by filling this form here, or submit your free assessment. This is a free assessment where you can submit your details. We can talk about immigration programs and whatnot. We're still kind of working on this side, but it's in a good shape at this point. All right, great. The second one I want to just add here is about a quick plugin for our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for everyone who's supporting us. We have been trying to upload content in a disciplined way over a few months now, and the response we're getting is very much appreciated. We try to respond to the comments as much as we can. If you want to book a consultation, obviously you can trigger an email, and we would be more than happy to work with you on that as well. Our goal has been to create content that is meaningful and relevant for prospects of Canadian immigration, whether you're doing by yourself or you're just learning. This video content is designed to kind of help you. Immigration is not an entertainment, so the videos are not designed for that, but it is to help you from. It's kind of an educational at the same time to help you with your own process. Okay. As part of this playlist here, so I'm just showing you different playlists here, and our goal is to keep adding content here and expand on this playlist as well. We try to upload content regarding immigration regularly. Our team is on it almost on daily basis. All right. So when we come to this playlist, this video is linked to Canada Immigration Self-Help Guide, right? So we have uploaded few videos into this, and we got some good response from many of you. So thank you. The first one was about renewing your PR card. The second was about the first part of Canada citizenship application walkthrough, where we shared about what are some of the requirements to become a citizen, and how to kind of complete the application itself, and so on and so forth. Now, as part of this video, our goal is to talk about what happens after you submit your application and give you some sort of expectation. The example I'm going to take is I'm going to give you a real example here. This application has 2 adults and 1 minor child, and I'm going to give you some timeline as well, so stay tuned, watch till the end. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We appreciate it. All right, so this we'll start with the canada.ca website, right? This has amazing content, obviously, and so we'll start with this one. So if you are applying for Canadian citizenship, congratulations. So I'm sure you had a long journey of applying or thinking about Canada, applying for PR, getting PR approved, living in Canada for at least 3 years in the last 5 years. And so I'm sure that the journey has been long, but I'm sure it's worth it. So as you're applying, right, you start with the application process itself, which we covered in the previous video in this playlist. And then, as part of that process, you take citizenship test and few other things depending on your application. And then you finally, once everything is good and said and done, you go through the oath ceremony, and then you become a citizen. So that's really it. So kind of a 3-4 step process here. The The general processing timeline itself is depending on, the type of your application. In this case, your citizenship, let's say citizenship grant, actually citizenship certificate, that this one is taking 3 months. This is more accurate, right? Citizenship grant. This is when you're becoming first time citizenship. You never had it, right? Certificate, I believe, it relates to like you getting a proof of citizenship. But this is what you're getting, becoming a citizen, right? So it's approximately 7 months. In the example that I'm going to give you, it took about 4 months. So we'll walk you through that. All right. So I'm just going to use this quick slideshow here, and then I'll go to this on the tracker and other steps. So right here, the day as I mentioned in this application, there are a couple of adults and a minor child. So the main adult opened their application, and the minor child and the second adult, which is the parent, opened their separate application. So it's a kind of a group application, right? They go together. And once everybody in the group basically signs the application, you get this email. Basically says, hey, everybody signed the application, you're ready to submit. So this one, I mean, you would notice here that we have added the dates here. So this happened on February 19th. Okay, this will give you a context of the timeline itself. And on February 19th, the same day, this application was submitted. Okay, and as it clearly says, this is not AOR of the this is not an acknowledgement of receipt, which is a document that you would receive, which more details. But this is an automated email, which basically confirms that all your group application or your application is submitted, and it looks like this. And it also very nicely gives you what to expect next. It gives you that the team when the IRCC when they kind of receive your application or start looking at it, then you will get an AOR and the next steps and so on and so forth. Okay, so this also happened the same day on February 19th. Okay, now fast forward 14 days later, 2 weeks later, in this case, you would receive an email with an attachment. And in this case, this is the acknowledgement of receipt. And this is a screenshot of the acknowledgement of receipt. I've kind of hid the details of the client or applicant here. So we're not giving away anything here. But the subject is application for Canadian citizenship. This is an acknowledgement of receipt. This basically says this is to acknowledge receipt of your application for Canadian citizenship. We will review your application and supporting documents and will contact you if additional information is required. Okay, and they're also preparing you that if you are between 18 and 54 years of age, then you have to, show that you have the language skills and also the knowledge requirements, which is the citizenship test. So you have to do that. You have to demonstrate both language and the knowledge about Canada and the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. So these are the two. So they're kind of preparing you. And they're also, going further and telling you that the exam itself will have 20 questions. You have to get 15 right. They're giving you a link to the study guide, basically telling you that while we are taking time to review your application, please get head started on preparing for this exam. Yeah. And then the next step, the nice thing about this one is it tells you what to expect next. When your application has been reviewed and has met basic eligibility, IRCC will send you correspondence to invite you to a knowledge test. It could take a few months before you hear from us. So this is where we stay tight and we just sit tight and wait for the next response. But during that time, we can prepare for this exam, right? And that is after 14 days from the previous step. Yeah. 24 days later, from the day we submitted the application, we get another email. This email is talking about application tracker. It is a different website. I'll show you that, where you can now see the steps that IRCC is going through by at different stages of processing your application, and you will have a sense of where it is. That way you're not contacting them, or you're not wondering what's happening with the application itself. Yes. And if you have group application, then each application will have a separate tracker. Okay. So let me go through this email real quick. So when it comes to immigration, reading each word is very important, right? So I'm just going to go through this. Follow the process of your citizenship grant application with the citizenship application tracker. Dear client, thank you for submitting your application for the grant of citizenship. Your application was created in our system on March 4th and is currently in process. Very good. Excellent. You can now follow the progress of your application with our citizenship application tracker. That's a link. So when you click it in your email, it'll open up a new site. Sorry. The citizenship application tracker allows you to check what. So when you go to the citizenship application tracker website, create your account there, what can you expect? Well, you will know the status of your application, each application. You'll know the next steps you need to take. If there is any action items you need to take, you will know that. And our progress with your application, what's happening at different stages, and a timeline of your citizenship grant application history. It will also tell you, how, the history of what happened, basically, right? So, and then, you need to create an account, obviously, because you would not have an account till now, right? So you have to create an account. And for that, you need a UCI number, application number, all that will be, part of that email, and you can get it from there and then do that. And if you have hired a representative like RCIC like me, then they would get that, and then they will kind of work with you on it. Okay. So this is 24 days from when you submitted the application. So your application tracker started. This is a good sign. It's fantastic. And here's where, let me go to a different site, and I'm just going to show you the application tracker itself. Bear with me. Okay, this is how it looks. I'm just going to go through this in detail. In this case, this is how the application tracker looks like, basically. Like, as this applicant becomes a citizen. That's why you see the word congratulations. This application is closed, but it'll give you a sense of what to expect, right? So this application tracker looks like this. I'm gonna walk you through, and then we'll go back. This application was submitted or filed on March 4th. Basically, they're saying that, okay, we have received your application. This is basically a AOR. We have received your application and have begun the process of your application, information about your next steps and required action items. Perfect. As you can see, a few weeks later, almost a month here, right? Almost a month later, there was a request for a citizenship test, correct? Now I'll kind of walk you through this one to what to expect. And then there's a test that is scheduled, and then there is fingerprints that are required, and so on and so forth. So I'll come back to this one, but this is exactly how the application tracker looks. There are dates starting the latest dates are on the top. So the oldest dates are at the bottom. It tells you what happened at that stage, and so on and so forth, and it kind of moves up. Okay, let's go back. So the 49 days later from the date you submitted the application, you get another email with an attachment this time. In this case, 49 days later, you get an attachment that says, request to take citizenship test. This is how the email and the attachment looks like. I gave you an example here. The email basically says you're invited to further the processing of your citizenship application by taking the online citizenship test. The details of your online test are attached, so on and so forth. You have to go through very carefully. And this one, test start date is basically April 8th to May 7th. And you can basically schedule the test whenever you want during that time. They give you a time block. and you can complete that test. And they are also saying that if you're between 18 and 55, you have to do it. Well, if you're outside that, then you don't have to, and things like that. There are always exceptions if you're not able to do the test and things like that. If your condition is exceptional, then please, obviously contact them. What I'm saying is just the general the regular thing where most of the people will fall into, not exceptions. Yeah. All right, 51 days later, for this applicant, they received a request for fingerprints. This is not common for everybody. Now, if IRCC doesn't have your fingerprints or they need the latest fingerprints, there is a concern. They obviously want it. So in this case, the user got this email and basically says this: the purpose of this notice is to advise you that in order to continue processing of your application, you will need to provide a set of fingerprints for your clearance. Okay, so as part of this whole citizenship application, they do your background check, they do your criminal record, and so on, so many things, right? So this is part of that. If you had your fingerprints taken a year or more ago, they have expired. So this could be one of the reasons why they're asking again. And you will have to do them again. Please note that for Canadian citizenship purposes, RCMP, fingerprints are only valid for 1 year. So it could be, this person's are expired. So again, the attachments to this email will provide you with the procedures and what to expect. Please read it carefully and take care of the next steps. And so I'll give you, details of how to kind of schedule an appointment or go to one of these places where they take fingerprints. And when you go to one of these fingerprint places, all you have to do is you have to give your fingerprints. It's a very simple process. They have a machine where you put your finger, it scans your fingers and takes the prints, and they directly send it to RCMP. Okay, so you don't have to do any mailing or anything like that. And they send it to them, and then once IRCC receives those fingerprints and the results of that, if everything is positive, good, then your application tracker will be updated with this one. So let's go back to the application tracker here for a second and look at this fingerprint business. So as you can see, this on April 8th, there was a request for fingerprints. Look at this one. This is important. This is for background verification. And they sent an email and instructions, all that happened. Fingerprints required. So, and then the test was also requested here. So look at this one. From between April 8th and April 29th, the fingerprints were obviously taken and they were sent. So the result came in almost, I don't know, maybe 20 days, right? In about 20, it took 20 days for the fingerprints to go to IRCC, and they received it. Now they're reviewing it. And after this, they have done the background verification that's complete at the end of April, and they check all the other prohibitions. That are you meeting all the conditions, or are there any exceptions? So are there any issues, basically? So everything is clean and neat, seems like. So this all kind of falls into background verifications and checks, right? So that is complete here. And then 51 days later, the same thing. I think this is the second part of that email, the same fingerprints. Don't want to repeat it. All right. This is a big gap here. All right. At this point, 109 days later, almost 3 months later, you get another email, assuming you have passed your citizenship test, background checks and everything is going okay. You would receive an email like this to appear for the ceremony. It's basically, you have an email where it's basically this will be your details. And these two are important here, right? This is the time you have to appear and the location you have to appear. So, and then all the other documents that you have to bring, your PR card, other ID, and they'll give you a form to sign and all that stuff. So, and then notice to appear, you have to bring all that stuff, right? This paper. So that is almost 3 months later after we submitted in this case. And then the day happened when this particular group attended the ceremony was almost 133 days or 4 months after they submitted their application. That was on July 1st, 2024. So as you can expect, it took almost 4 months for this application to go through. And let's go back to this tracker once again, if you don't mind. So application filed, citizenship test is requested, citizenship test scheduled, fingerprints requested, and test, the client, the user passed the test here. As you can see, this test was scheduled on April 8th. No, it was scheduled, the notification came on April 8th, but it was scheduled between April 15th. So there was a month, right? Yeah, April 8th to May 8th, I think. So the user completed this. So that's updated. Fingerprints are received, background verification is done, and then prohibitions and other things are met. And then they look at this physical presence too, right? I think where do you meet that, 1095 days in the last 5 years to apply for a citizen, right? So they check all that. I have covered this in the previous video where you have to enter in the dates you are away from Canada. And so they check all that, right? And then as part of the application, we submitted, in this case, an IELTS exam report. It was expired, but they still take it, right? So it's still valid in this case. So there is a language requirement, and this is another detailed topic where you have to provide that. And if you have exceptions, obviously there are some exceptions, you can take care of that and reach out to us if you need. These are just straightforward kind of cases. And then on June 5th, basically said citizenship oath. So basically they are working on scheduling your oath ceremony. So that's basically what it is. And then on June 5th, they basically reached out to you and said, well, on July 1st, you have a ceremony that you have to attend. Please follow that email and details. And once the person has attended the ceremony, in this case, this is almost a month ago, right? In June 5th and July 1st. So you got almost a month. And then after the ceremony, citizenship oath status has been updated to complete. Person has attended the ceremony, received the certificate of citizenship in person in this case. Yeah. And so that's why this is updated. And finally, the application status is closed. The reason is because we have approved your application to become Canadian citizen. Congratulations. You're now a Canadian citizen. Welcome to Canadian family. Within the next few weeks, you'll receive documents and information for your next steps as a new citizen. Find the information services, and there are quite a lot, right? You can see, and obviously the next important steps would be about applying for passport, registering for voting, and there's another nice benefit where, as new Canadian citizens, you will be given free admission to all the Canada's natural parks and cultural centers, museums, and whatnot. That's a good perk. So thank you, Canada. So that's kind of the process of what to expect. Based on this, as you have seen that this thing take time, right? Initially, we saw that the processing time was about 7 months and things like that. But in this case, it took about 4 months. Yeah. So make sure your application is clean and neat. Obviously, there are kind of complications. Getting legal advice is beneficial for sure. Then you can do it yourself, then please go for it. But I would recommend getting legal advice. Yeah, if your application is straightforward, then it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you have any questions. We are here for you, and I really appreciate your support and the time you spend here with us. Well, if you're applying for citizenship, all the best, and yeah, and you worked really hard to come this far. So all the very best. Take care. Bye.